Good morning, you guys. Okay, so today I thought we would do sort of like a personal chit-chatty video while I do my makeup. I think it's more interesting if I'm like doing my makeup and I can like try new things and show you guys something while we kind of have this conversation. I love doing these videos. You guys always seem to like it when I just turn the camera on and sort of go. I'll link to everything I'm using, but I want to talk about this whole buzzed about, you know, life-changing magic of tidying up, Marie Kondo, the Netflix thing. 3 years ago, I Marie Kondo'd pretty much my entire house. I made videos about it. I told you guys about the book. I listened to the audiobook, which we'll talk about. And I'm hearing people sort of talk about it for the first time. I thought, like, how interesting would it be to sort of let you guys know how someone that actually did it, just like a regular person that did it to their house from reading the book, did all of her like little methods or whatever, how everything looks now and how it sort of changed everything. You guys still ask me questions every now and then. What was that book you talked about organization? And I honestly thought, you guys, this is so funny, that it was only maybe like a year or 2 years ago at the most. And I looked back the other day because I remember I got the book. I ordered, you know, like I got the audio book or whatever so I could just listen to it easy. And I blew through it like in 2 days, right? Like I went on this crazy, like, let me clean out everything in my house. I was like super inspired. So I was like, oh, that's easy. I can see like exactly when I bought it. It was February of 2016, you guys. So a lot of updates. I want to kind of give you guys my take on it, what I liked, what I didn't like, how it sort of changed a lot of things for us. I totally didn't do my hair today. What's new? But I feel like it's like, man, I'll fix it when we get done. Maybe, maybe I won't. Okay, so read the audiobook, listen to the audiobook. Listen, I would honestly suggest doing that. The Netflix series is showing you like her doing this method within someone's house. Basically a method of organizing, a method of decluttering, cleaning out. The book is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it's not just like, oh, clean out your house, do all this is better. It's literally like she has all these little like methods. We'll kind of get into it. I'll talk to you guys about what I think is kind of like a little too like woo-woo-y for me. Things that I don't necessarily like believe in that she does. But it really truly changed my life. It changed like how we live in our house. And I don't like it when people reinvent the wheel and they're like, guys, I wrote this book about cleaning out. Okay, get rid of the things that you don't like. Like, no joke, girl. You know what I mean? But it's so much more than that. I know, it's like, really? The main takeaway people say is like, you know, oh, I'm gonna hold this item. Does this hand towel spark joy? And it's like, I feel like that's what people have taken away from it. And you can tell like there's people that are talking about it sometimes and they aren't really, like they've never read the book. They're just kind of knocking it and they're like, well, what's such a big deal about this? And I'm like, well, don't talk about it unless if you really like read the book or kind of know. To me, I could not sit down and read a book about decorating, like, or not decorating, but like cleaning out, because the time that I spend doing that should, like for me, it would be like the time that I'd be wanting to actually clean out. Do you know what I mean? I just feel, honestly, like there's so much out there. Pinterest, there's so many like pretty pictures of organized spaces, which I'll get into like at the end. I think that's totally like ruined everything, but and made us do like really nutso things like in our homes as far as like organizing goes. But anyways, her method really works. And let me tell you, I listened to it the same way you would like listen to a podcast, like an audiobook, whatever. And I remember Olivia was like 1 at the time. She was like, she had just turned 1. And I was laying down with her. She was in my bed. I don't remember if she was like, I pulled her to bed and then like, I'll go do something else. You know what I mean? And I remember that night I was really like laying with her. I don't know if she wasn't feeling good or she was fussy or something was going on. Anyways, I was laying down. I was like, I'm gonna listen to this book. So I'm listening to it, right? This was like the first night that I had it. And I felt like I was gonna like jump out of my skin. I was like, I've got to get up. I've got to throw out all that stuff on the top shelf in the closet. I've got to get over in the basement. I've got to do this. There's so much stuff that I just want to throw out, right? Like, I don't know what it was, but something in the audiobook like made me click, because she basically like tells you how to get rid of things, how to look at your storage, how to look at your junk that you may not even realize was junk. And I always thought that I was a fairly like together, you know, tidy person. But I've always been a person with like junk drawers. It's kind of like good on the surface and then it was just a mess behind the scenes, or I would just like get things really junked up. I heard someone talking about this the other day And they were like, what's such a big deal about this? They were talking like, you know, they were all like, they knew everything about this. They're like, what's such a big deal about Marie Kondo, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not so groundbreaking. Like, oh, spark joy. Like, does this spark joy? Like, what's new and groundbreaking about that, you know? But then in the next sentence, they were like, when I do my monthly cleaning out of my junk drawer, and I'm thinking, you need this, because the main idea is that like, if you do this, you don't have to tidy up. Like, you don't have junk drawers anymore. Like, you don't have to clean. Like, when I say clean, I don't mean like scrub, like cleanly, like cleanliness cleaning. I mean like clean your house. Like, there might be a pile of junk, or oh, I've got to organize my kids' room again, or oh, I've got to, you know, there's a pile of clothes that just always piles up, or there's a pile. You never have to do that again. And it sounds insane, but you clean out your stuff. You clean out your stuff in her method. You put things in a place. Again, doesn't sound groundbreaking, but you just make sure everything has a place, right? So like in your mind, think, okay, do I have a certain junk drawer that just piles up with certain items? What are those items? Is it receipts? Is it, you know, coupons? Is it papers? Is it little flyers? Well, then you need a place for those things. Do you know what I mean? So that when you get those things, they don't junk up a drawer where it shouldn't be. They just have a spot. And then like get better about knowing what to keep, what not to keep. And there's just a lot of things in there about like how to organize sentimental things, how to like look at sentimental things, which honestly was one of my favorite parts, because every day I still think about something that I read in that book 3 years ago. It just really stuck with me. I'm gonna kind of give you an update on like how everything is and like different ideas specifically, but I kind of just wanna like tell you about the whole book a little bit. Oh, let me tell you this first. I got a new shade of the Chanel, of the CoverGirl, you know, little brow thing. I think the one I was using was a little dark. I got the soft blonde. You guys, this is so good. It's like $5. I need some lip balm. Okay, so you think, oh, she's just telling you to get rid of all the sentimental stuff. No, she's saying like, you need to be very sentimental about stuff, but it's like, honestly, we keep all these things, just hanging on to all these things, thinking, I gotta keep every single little card that comes in, every single this, every single that, and it just clouds everything that you should be sentimental about, like those few items that are really special. So it's like, just teaching how to look at things a little differently, how to let go of things, how to be okay with letting go of things. I haven't missed a single item that I've let go of in 3 years. I was more inspired by the book, because it was like she was speaking, or the narrator was like speaking to me, and you know, kind of like in her voice, like speaking to me, and it was like I was thinking everything she said, I was thinking about my home. I was listening to it while I was cleaning out, you know? And when I watch a show, it's really entertaining, but I feel like if you're trying to like really do this, if you feel like you really have an issue with this, you need to just get the book, and I'll put the name of it and everything below, but it's just so worth it. Like I said, just listen to the audiobook, and I wouldn't suggest, like I'd be like, oh, listen to it on the way to work or whatever. You'll literally be like, okay, I'm not going to work today. I'm gonna go home and like clean out my house. You don't wanna do that. But like listen to it while you're at home, while you can be like inspired and actually like work on your stuff. But it really wasn't a big deal. You think, oh my gosh, my whole house, what an undertaking. Just take one room at a time. It's just not a big deal, you know? And I could like, it's just hard for me to like summarize everything because there's just so much, but you know, I think that it's easy to kind of get overwhelmed. Everything just clicked, and I cleaned out everything so fast, and I still think of it all the time when I look at storage, or when I look at an item, or when I'm like, you know, am I gonna keep this, or where do things go? When you have kids, of course, you know, like toys are gonna pile up all day. I'm not saying like your house is always gonna look spotless, but things that you can control, like as an adult, like your junk drawer, your things that are laying around. I mean, you don't have to do all that, you know, because your kid's gonna play, your kids are gonna have stuff all over the house at all times. But have a spot for their toys so that at the end of the day you can pick it up and it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? So, and we kind of did it to her room, like everything has a little place, and it just makes things, it just keeps it easy. It makes you feel good to be organized. So my experience 3 years later, I'm gonna talk about things that just totally did not work for me, but my experience, I cleaned out certain areas. I didn't go through and do my entire house. Like, of course, you can be so literal about everything she says. Do the paper clutter first, you know, take everything out of every section and put it in a pile. Like, girl, I didn't do all that, but I kind of made it my own, certain things that I did. And it still worked. And some things like our closet, I was getting a new closet, so everything did come out at some point, you know what I mean, and lay out. But, you know, I don't think you have to do, just you gotta feel what works for you, but it is better if you're gonna clean out a cabinet or if you're gonna clean out a linen closet, take everything out, you know, if it's like a doable space. If you're gonna clean your room, I'm not saying like everything from your room go into the hall, you know, that's very overwhelming. And do one section at a time. Like, don't start something and then move on to something else. Finish something completely and move on to something else. In the kitchen, little junk drawers in there and stuff, and I have been like a junk drawer person my entire life. I don't know why I can't get this eyebrow right. Every few months I've got to clean out the junk drawer, and what's funny is since I did this, I haven't had to do that. Actually, I take that back. When you first do it, you'll kind of like, everything will be nice, and then kind of watch your stuff. Like notice, okay, well, is something piling up? It got a little tight and it wasn't shutting, and I was like, okay, what is in there? It was like receipts, it was like little reward certificates, little like flyers. Oh, I might shop at this store, maybe this coupon, like the, you know, may go to Bed Bath & Beyond, maybe that's 20% off. So I decided I'm just gonna make a little cubby for those things, and those mirrored cabinets in our kitchen. I'm like, I'm just gonna have a little cubby for those things, a little section for receipts. When that gets full, I can go put it with my tax stuff, because here's the thing, like I'm not going to, every time, you know, I have a receipt or I'm cleaning out my purse, I'm not gonna like run, oh, let me file this away, you know, just in case. Like, no, like you need something that's doable that you can actually stick with. So I made a little drawer for those things, and then it, you know, doesn't get messy anymore. Like our bathroom, good. Like all the storage, good. My closet, good. I do want to clean that out. It's because I want to, not because it's like overwhelming, but because I want to. I like to bring in new things, but everything has a place. Everything's nice. Wow, I'm really going to town on this eyebrow. Okay, I don't know why I can't get it to like, why is there always a wonky eyebrow? What is happening? Like the living room, the family room, the dining room is done. Like when you look, and this is the thing, when you look at those rooms, you don't think, oh gosh, there's a bunch of crap under the couch, or I don't really know what all's in here. Like you can just look at the room and know that everything has a place. Like you know what is in the room. Do you know what I'm saying? So like I always think, like if I were to move or something, would I be cleaning out a bunch of junk, or is everything just, do you know what I'm saying? Like everything in the room's just already together. But then there are sections that I totally did not do. Of course, like I did Olivia's room and stuff. I'm not naming all the sections that I did, and those sections stay clean, they're nice. Something interesting. Okay, so the sections that I didn't do, right? It's just so, it's night and day different. Brad's closet, I didn't do. Now, do we live the same? Yes. Like, do we, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are all areas within our home, but those areas that I did not like actively do this method to are the areas that get junked the hell up. So Brad's closet, our guest bedroom, the attic, you know, and like our attic isn't bad, but it's just not an area that I go up to a lot. It's not junky, it's just, I know there's a lot of stuff up there that I could get rid of. I don't just like junk it up and throw stuff in there, but it just makes me kind of think like, I'm just putting this peach powder under my eyes, no big deal. It just makes me think like, gosh, I wish I would have just kind of completed the whole process. But certain areas of the basement, the guest bedroom, like the closet in the guest bedroom is just like totally, it's basically like got something that may need to go to the attic that doesn't really have a place. Throw it in that closet, girl, because you don't want to go up in the attic. Like literally that's what that room has become. Like that's what that closet has become. So you look in and it's like, oh, what a cutesy little room. Behind the scenes, it's like complete junk. So I need to do that. Don't even get me started on our garage. I don't even know. I mean, how does anyone even have a clean garage? Like, I don't know. Mine is a mess at all times. But all of these areas that we did are like the areas that we actually use a lot. Do you know what I mean? And it's like areas that we enjoy using in our house. And I'm using the NARS Cordura, which this one is fairly new. I believe 3 years ago I like Marie Kondo'd my old one and like got rid of it. Oh, this is not the brush I want to use for this. But I guess my point is, these areas that I did, they function so nicely. I'm not constantly cleaning. I don't have to think, oh, let me straighten this up because it's just a way of life. Like it just does itself. Do you know what I mean? Like everything just kind of goes back to where it goes because I set it up that way. It's just easy. I can put something away quickly. I know that just sounds so simple, but just trust me, like it is a really cool method. It sounds so easy, but if you really listen to the book and stuff, it's really cool. So I need to do these other areas of my house. It's not like we're thinking, okay, let me think about that Marie Kondo book. No, it literally just changes your thoughts. And so it did impact us. It helped Brad and I think of things differently. And these last 3 years, I mean, obviously we have a child and that's made life so wonderful. It's been a great 3 years, but I don't want to get too like, again, this word, too like woo-woo-y on you, but I feel like we've had more like success in our lives, like in our personal lives, with our jobs, like with each other. And I just feel like Is it because of this? I don't know. Is it because like, and I know it sounds so dramatic, and you might look at my house and say, well, it doesn't look that different than it did before. But in these last 3 years especially, even like my decorating, the way rooms look have just come together. I just really love it with the way that things look. I'm just using this light, like brownish color. I don't even know. I'm just gonna put it all over my lid. I was just putting it in the crease, but I'm kind of like, I want like a warm all over look. Okay. But I love the way my house looks more. I feel like I'm more intentional about selecting like decor, and not that I wasn't before, but I would just buy random stuff sometimes. Now it's like, I don't want to bring in anything to my house unless if I really love it. We focused more on like doing things to our house that makes us happy. And it's honestly been really, really cool. Y'all may notice when I talk, I start doing rambling makeup. Like I'll be focusing on an eyebrow for 5 minutes straight, or I'll be like blending or doing something, and then I catch myself and I'm like, why am I doing that? If it's something that you think sounds like you would, benefit from, just trust me and get the audiobook. I think that you'd really enjoy it. Like if you like listening to podcasts, if you like listening to audiobook, it's a really good one to listen to and get through, and it's really relaxing. So something that is really funny about it though, so again, she does do a lot of things that are a little like, I don't thank our socks, I don't verbally talk to my items and say, thank you for a job well done today, and like put them away, and like, if something's leaving my house, I'm not like, thank you for your service. Like if this mirror was broken, I'm not gonna be like, thank you, old friend, and like send it away. No, like I don't don't wanna say worship items. I don't put that much value on items where I have like a, like an emotional relationship with them. There are things that I like and I value, but I would get rid of material items in a heartbeat if I had to. It's not what is important. But I feel like I'm more thankful that I have them. Remember when I did those videos years back about this method, I told you guys, like, I'm not thanking my socks, like, no thank you. I don't think I'm gonna put any of the dark color on this. I think I'm just gonna be like brown. I've just been taking like this flat brush and a little bit of this black cream liner and just touching it right at my lashes. Ooh, I should have curled my lashes before I did this. I don't like to do it after my makeup's on because I don't want to like get it on the curler, but whatever, we'll still do it. So yeah, I mean, there's things that I definitely don't do. I don't think, oh my gosh, she says I should have, X amount of books, 20 books or whatever it is. Gotta get rid of my books. No, I think everybody's house is different. You might have like a huge bookshelf, like everybody's taste is different. I think it's just you need to do what's workable for you. And like honestly, like we have those giant built-in bookcases in our family room. I have some little bookcases in our living room. And that family room bookcase, I remember like I post, if I ever post pictures of it, people are like, why don't you have books on it? I'm like, there's like 50 books on that bookcase. They're just so huge and the books are kind of spread out, They're all ones that I love and that I look at sometimes. I love decorating books. I just love beautiful, like artsy, pretty books. If I read like a fiction book, I don't usually hang on to it. I'll usually pass it on. Do you know what I mean? I like books that I can just kind of reference and look at and maybe just like clear it off and just see how that feels. And like now I do that every now and then, like with my bookshelves, I'll take everything off and just like rearrange the things that are on there, maybe get rid of a few things. And it's time to do that because I feel kind of like I'm a little bored with it right now. But yeah, I constantly like change things up because I'm very much, hold on, let me just do this so I can talk. I'm very much affected by like how things make me feel. And if something isn't making me feel good, then I'll change it up or I'll move it or whatever. Something else, okay, so the books. Again, taking your clothes out, you don't have to do that. I kind of did it unintentionally because we got the new closet, all my clothes were on the bed, and so I did sort of, and then, yeah, I admit, when I put the stuff back in there, I had piles of things. I don't know what was in the, like, I don't miss it, and it reset everything, and you don't think, oh, you're just gonna build back up to that again. I haven't in 3 years. My makeup stash was the same. I feel like I still have so much, but I don't keep every single little thing. If I get something, I pass it on, or, I only save the things that I really like. I don't think, well, I've got all this makeup storage, let me just junk up everything like I used to. I did several videos on that too when I was sort of like in the midst of cleaning it all out. Guys, best eyelash curler ever. So I don't know, I feel like you have to really just do what works for you. And don't take the method so literal if there are things that just would not work for you. Can you tell how much that like really just opened up like my eyes? I don't even need to put mascara. I'm gonna do a really quick video at some point on like just my quick everyday makeup look, just because like most days I don't sit and I do my makeup like this. I just do it so quickly. It's just like majorly super easy. If you're kind of in the zone of like, okay, I need to do something about my house, I want to do this, get the audio book, listen to it, find a good place to donate items. You know, find some places that are local to you that need help, like, or places that accept donations that are like actually going to like people that might be living in a facility, or like, you know, a women's shelter or something like that. That's what we like to do. Take things to Goodwill, like do whatever you want to do, give things to friends. I hate to just say, okay, I'm just gonna dump them off on a family member or a friend, because then I feel guilty about that sometimes, because I'm like, well, they're gonna have a whole bunch of clutter too. But once you do this, you really sort of change everything. You're not just constantly doing this all the time. When you clean out, it's because you want to, not because you're like, wow, my house has gotten out of control again. It makes it impossible for your house to get out of control. So that's kind of the main takeaway, and I don't know, I really hope that you guys will try it out. Oh, something cool too that I think about all the time. These lashes are so much longer than these right now. Do you do that? Sometimes you get like in a little cycle, or like a weird growth cycle with your lashes, where one side just looks like a completely different eyeball. These are like all even and shorter, and these are like all squirrely. I don't know. But something that really stuck with me is about paper clutter, and she really talks about that a lot, which really, really helps. Oh my gosh, you guys, like if you're like, Tiffany, you're not getting into much detail, it's because I didn't write the book. Like, I'm not trying to recap everything, because there's no way I could. I just think you should get the book and read it, and hopefully like take away some of these main things that I said. But all of these little like instruction manuals, right? There was this section in my kitchen where I swear to you guys, I had kept everything, like what if I need to know how this works? And something so simple that she said, she was like, you can get all of that online. And it's so true. You know what I mean? Like if you ever need to know how something works, you just look it up, like everything's online. And just like willy-nilly, like get rid of all this stuff. And then later be like, wow, I really need this. I haven't missed a single thing. And yeah, like now I just feel like everything that I have has a place. If I get something new, it goes in that place. If there's not room for it, well, most of the time I don't buy things if I know there's not room for it, because in my mind, I know where everything is. I know what I need and I know what I don't need. Oh my gosh, and speaking of, that's kind of like the whole, like I said, like Pinterest, Instagram, I follow so many home accounts. That's like what I follow the most ever. Home accounts. I love seeing pretty organizational photos. But I'm also realistic, and I know those things are really just to look at and to get likes and to be pretty. Because I'm telling you, how many times have you looked at a fridge where someone has a giant bin of tomatoes in the refrigerator, okay? And then like there's like a bin of onions in the refrigerator. There's like 2 cans of sparkling water. I'm like, girl, where's your Pepsi? Like, you know they're in there. And then like things are in weird drawers. I get everybody stores things differently, but you can tell it's like rainbow coated, organized, everything's in a clear bin, which I'm like, if I did that, my fridge would have like no air circulation, things would not be getting cold. And it's like bins and just bins and bins and bins and bins. I keep Olivia's yogurt in a bin in the fridge because it makes sense, because it's little, but everything doesn't have to, I just do things that work, you know what I mean? And I don't want to do things just because it's pretty. I want things to be visually appealing, but I also want it just to like work, you know? And so some of these things you have to be realistic about. Take some of the inspiration and think, you know what, maybe I could add a few bins to my fridge. Or, oh my gosh, look how pretty it is when something's organized. Let me try to get my things a little more organized. But I say don't go so super literal, because then you'll be the total opposite. You'll find that you've organized things in a way that just look nice, and then you won't really be using them, you know, in the way that you should. Or like I wish that our pantry was a little bigger, not gonna lie. But then I look at it and I'm like, we don't even, like, I end up throwing out so much food. It's just the 3 of us, you know what I mean? Like if I had a bigger pantry and I had all of these containers of like 48 onions and like this much rice and this much this and that, it's like, do you wait till you get to completely to the bottom of it because you never see them, or there's just a little bit? Are you like using old food? Are you dumping that out? Are you wasting food? It's like, there's no way I could get through that much. It's like not even food that an elementary school cafeteria could get through in a week. I get nervous about like wasting things and like food especially. I'm gonna talk about this blush in a minute. But one thing that I do really believe in like keeping in canisters is cereal, because we do go through cereal quickly. In some families, like if you have 10 kids and you need all that stuff, and you are just cooking every single meal at home, then you probably do need those things. But I'd say the average person, like we can be more realistic about what we do and doing things for looks versus like function. But I will, I'll link to these cereal canisters. They're so good. My kid hits me up for snacks like every 5 seconds, right? So it's easy just to like pour it out. I can see, you know, are we running low? I don't have to like fumble with the, I cannot stand like cereal containers, like a box, you know? So get you a couple of these. They're just so easy. You don't have to like go to the container store to get them. They're available at Target, but I will link to the exact ones because they do have several different types. So worth it. This blush is so pretty. It just looks so pale. I'm gonna put this on. It just like livens up your face, livens you up. And it was free. Oh my gosh, you guys, that Lancome Absolute, I'm not kidding, it's like changed the skin on my neck, my cheeks, like it's amazing. I'll show you guys. I've got an upcoming skin video, but if you guys took my advice and tried some of that stuff, I believe when you ordered at Nordstrom during that month, you got a really good sample bag and you got this in it. Listen, I make good recommendations, I'm telling you guys. But it's the Lancome oil-free powder blush and blushing Trésor. This was a free gift and it came with a whole bunch of other stuff too, like an eye cream and like a big size eye cream. But this is basically like NARS Orgasm, but it's this beautiful like oil-free Lancome formula. And I think honestly, it's a little prettier. It's my new favorite. The blushing Trésor, I would say definitely pick this up. Like look how pretty and healthy. Like I don't look overdone. I just feel like it looks healthy and nice. I don't feel like I'm wearing like too much. So I'm gonna add some highlights so I do look a little extra. What is that? Oh, it's my necklace. But I think the bottom line is you just have to do what works for you, not necessarily what looks pretty or what you think works for someone else. And I think that's the whole thing with Marie Kondo is it's all about what is functional, what works in your own home, you know, organizing things where you use them. I did a video on cleaning my house and I said all of my cleaning supplies are under my sink. I don't have this fancy storage in my 500 square foot mudroom that I don't have. I don't have look at all my cleaning supplies. Literally stick that crap under the sink where it goes. Like keep it organized and nice because when I need it, I'm like, it's all here. I can grab it. It's like accessible. Like I said, you know, when your husband comes in and he's like, he's dropping his stuff all the time in the kitchen, make him a little drawer where he can drop all his stuff in the drawer. Certain area is like catching certain things, figure out what you need to keep of those things, what's important, and then make a spot for it. Like Olivia's hairbrush, for example, I don't run upstairs and do my daughter's hair every time we're about to run out the door, right? Like a brush, a few hair ties, a few hair bows of hers in that little area of our kitchen where that desk is. And it would always just be on top of my other things in one of my drawers. And I thought, I'm gonna make her own little drawer where I can keep her hairbrush and keep some things in there so that when we're heading out the door, I can do that. And it's made it, I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's easy. And you might think, this stuff is so simple, but I bet in your house you have a lot of these issues, and I was the same way. I thought I was really good about keeping things organized, but when I listened to this, I'm like, this is such simple stuff, but it just clicked, and it was almost like it hypnotized me. I'm not a minimalist. I don't think, okay, well, I only need one beauty product, and I need, one this and one that, and I want my house to look like an empty warehouse, where I love my house to feel homey. I love beautiful things. I love my handbags and clothing and things like that. It's all things that I know that I have. And while you might say, oh, you have so many, bags, or you have so many, so much makeup or so many clothes, I could never do that. Well, you may have a collection that I have zero of that I think would be completely absurd, but we all have to kind of do what works for us. Again, that's kind of like my example of her, you don't need this many books. But some people might enjoy that. So you just have to do what works for you. And I think that you would really enjoy the whole process, and you would sort of I think anyone could benefit from doing this. No matter how big or small your home is, no matter, your style or anything, I think everyone can do it. And rather than someone that just picked up the book last week and told you guys what to do, like I did 3 years ago, and I was giving you guys all these videos and like, guys, you have to try this and blah, and you guys are like, what are you talking about? I think it's interesting to hear from someone like myself that's done it a long time, that has seen the changes in my house. I'm not perfect. Like I said, my whole house isn't done. I didn't do it super literally, but I got such amazing benefits from it, and I think you guys would too. Oh, I didn't put my earrings in. So check it out, you guys. Oh my gosh, if you guys didn't pick these earrings up in my last video when I talked about them, these are so good. I don't know what I'm gonna do to my hair today. I haven't been curling it. I haven't really been doing anything to it. I've just been liking, sometimes I just air dry it. I'm trying just to keep it kind of, you know, healthy and just simple. Maybe I'll just like pull it back a little, I don't know. But I'm still really loving the short hair. Sometimes I think like, oh, do I want it long again? I mean, I can't snap my fingers and make that happen. But I really love it. It's so freeing just to not worry about it. And I don't know if I'm gonna get it cut again or if I'm just gonna let it grow because it has grown a lot. It was like super short before. But I really, really still love it. And I love it at this length too. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy that. I love doing these kind of videos where I'm getting ready, just kind of like yapping. I have so many updates. I don't say like a controversial topic, but something that's like super popular on YouTube right now that I am just like, we're gonna talk about maybe in my next video. I may do my makeup a little more dramatic. I just like to do what I'm really doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will link to that book, get the audiobook version. Trust me, you'll love it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye y'all.